Anyways, so how did Glee happen? That's one of the questions I get the most, because a lot of you guys, that's where I met you from. And I love sharing the story because it's a really fun one for me. So the very first thing that happened with Glee was my agent in Dallas, Kevin McHale, and I had the same agent in Dallas. We're both from Dallas. He's from Plano. I'm from Arlington. And so I saw him at some auditions. I knew of him. I didn't know him real well. He moved out to L.A. and did some stuff, and then I was talking to my agent, and she was like, oh, hey, Kevin booked this show on, it's on Fox. It's a musical. It's like, oh, cool, that's awesome. Never heard of the show before because it didn't exist yet. And she's like, yeah, it's going to be, it sounds really neat. Little did we know that it would literally blow up into the thing it became, the amazing worldwide phenomenon that it is. Anyway, so I knew about it. It came out. It obviously did really well. And then I moved to L.A., let's see, a little less than 2 years ago. At January, it'll be 2 years exactly. And I signed with a manager, and I was talking to him, and he was saying, hey, I really think you should really research the show because I think you're right for it, and I think you might go out for it because that's what I grew up doing, singing and dancing and whatnot. So I started watching the show. I rented all the DVDs. I went to Blockbuster. I rented them all, and because I'm a little OCD, I literally sat on my bed and took notes on season 1, and really kind of analyzed how's it shot, how's the story told, all those kind of things, and just kind of as a preparation for something that may happen. I didn't know if it would or not. Anyways, then in March of the next year, they were having the MySpace auditions. I don't know if anybody remembers those. Wow, 1,400 viewers. That's amazing. Hello. I'm just rambling incoherently, so if you stopped in, you just want to say hey and then leave, that's totally fine. Don't feel like you have to stay. Anyway, so I submitted a video to the MySpace auditions. The manager said, yeah, go ahead and submit one, it can't hurt. And I was like, okay, awesome. So I literally spent all weekend. I was in New York City, and I was seeing a show, and I got the call, oh, you're going to submit a video. It's due by Monday morning. So I was like, oh, okay. So I started working on the song and everything, and when I got back to L.A., it was literally 3 o'clock in the morning, and the song needed to be uploaded by about 6 or 7. It needed to be uploaded first thing to make the deadline. And so I was like, oh, no, I got to do it. So I literally set this laptop up on a table in my little apartment that I was living in at the time, and I was saying, what's the song? Artist Speedwagon. I can't fight this feeling any longer, yet I'm still afraid to let it show. That Finn sang in an episode, because that was one of the suggestions. So I posted it, I sent it in, and that was it. And I was like, okay, whatever. That's 10 million other people also posted videos. So what are the chances? And I forgot about it and kind of went on with my life. I was working at Starbucks, and then 3.5 months later, I get a call, 9 o'clock in the morning, wakes me up. I'm like, hey, what's up? And my agent's like, oh, hey, you got a call from the casting office, and they want to see you there in, an hour. And I was like, what? An hour? What's going on? And they were like, oh, I don't even know the details, but just go in and they'll tell you. And I thought, okay, it's an open call. So I went in, and I met Robert, and found out that was the culmination of the MySpace contest, was that they'd picked only several people from everybody, and somehow they picked me, and I was like, what? That's crazy. And anyways, found out that I was auditioning for a new role that didn't exist yet. So I spent the next few days preparing, working on songs and sides and all this kind of stuff, and went to the test, and that's the first time I got to meet Ryan and all the producers, and they were amazing. And at the same place, I met Cord Overstreet, and I met Samuel Larson, and some other awesome guys. There were about 4 or 5 of us that were all up for the role. Didn't even know what the role was exactly, and we all auditioned, and it was a blast. It was so much fun. I was nervous, but at the same time, they made the environment so relaxed, and it was just it was a really fun time. And anyways, Cord ended up getting the role, as we all know, and he turned into Sam, and he was perfect for the role. and he's phenomenal in the role. So that was kind of my first experience, and I was just grateful that I had been there and I gotten to meet those people, and I gotten to go into Fox and test. It was just a lot to take in, and I was learning a lot. So that went by, and then fast forward to 3 months later, I was actually at the Paramount lot, and it was so ironic because I was there for an audition for a different show, and I walked by the base camp, and I saw some of the cast and the actors, and I was like, oh man, I wish I could, I want to be on it, so how do and I moved on, and I got a phone call from my agent right there on the Paramount lot. He's like, oh hey, you have an audition for the show in 2 hours. I was like, cool. Ran home. It turns out there was some new prep school. I was reading for the roles of Thad, Nick, and Jeff, and ended up going in and reading, and I met Eddie there and all the guys, and well, you know how it turned out. So it was pretty spectacular, and so it's kind of a fun story to share because it was such a random sequence of events, and yet at the same time it was a very specific kind of sequence where, although it seemed random looking back now, each thing led to the next thing, and I'm really, really grateful. And those guys are some of my best friends now, and I'm so grateful to Robert and to incredible producers, everybody. Anyway, I could ramble on, but that's the story, and it's one of my favorites to share. That to say that if you have a dream to do something and you're really passionate about it and you think that it seems far off, don't give up, because in an instant that can change, and I think the best thing to do is to be as prepared as possible so that if and when a possibility comes along, you can capitalize on it and you can be the best you can be. So yeah, that's a little speech for me.